Hello and welcome to another video or episode, depending on, of course, whether you are watching or listening. So today I'm going to take a look at and bring together the thoughts on the current state of living and working in the UK and how it relates to being a woodland leader, outdoor instructor, forest school leader, all of that. So hopefully talk a bit about what I think about it. I'm not an economist, I'm not an expert in business or anything like that, but kind of bringing together threads that I've come across in various different places. This may be a longer one, so you might want to grab a coffee, and hopefully we won't be interrupted by people walking through too much, but we may need to pause here and there just to say hi to people. But anyway, here we go. So, I mean, the biggest thought the biggest phrase that has been happening over the past year is cost of living crisis. And that I've talked a little bit about that, but essentially it's a shift. Things are happening, and at its core, what we can say is we're looking at a country, and you could call it an empire if you want to define it that way, a country in decline over the long term. It has been in decline for some time. The writing has been on the wall for ages, and it's really only starting to be felt properly now. Like, really, the average person's life is changing, and that has some pitfalls for us and some things we're going to have to watch out for, telegraphed strikes, but it also has some opportunities. So from what I've been able to tell, like I said, again, I'm not an economist. A lot of what is happening has to do with things like Brexit. So we are making it harder for goods to move across borders, whether you're for or against it, doesn't really matter here. Just the weatherman just telling you what's around. And we've also seen, as a country, a shift towards a service-based economy. So we provide mostly services to people. So it's less based on goods and manufacturing and technology, and more based on a kind of circular economy of helping each other in a way. So you go to the doctor, the NHS pays the doctor pays a hairdresser pays a hotel staff member when they go on holiday, and it kind of all goes round. But the big problem is there's not as much input and not much investment, and not really very much export. I mean, we are exporting people, that seems to be clear. I mean, clever people are leaving for greener pastures abroad. But essentially we are looking at a decline. And this was a long time in coming, and a lot of bad decisions have been made, but that's beside the point. So we are looking at tougher times, and like I say, this could apply to many other countries going through the same teething problems. We're going to have problems with employment and so on, because we've got AI coming out at the same time as declining birth rates. Well, they've been declining for decades now, and immigration has been the only thing that's keeping us afloat. So there's a lot happening, but as essence, it means there's a lot less money circulating. A lot of people are reacting to that, and a lot of people are feeling the pinch. So what I'm seeing is a tightening of belts, a reluctance to spend as much. There's still money moving around the economy, but I think a lot of providers are reacting ahead of trends. So they are going, I'm struggling, therefore other people are struggling, therefore I need to reduce prices. And a lot of what I hear at the moment, and terminology and the words we use are powerful. I'm hearing a lot about cheap, affordable, budget, can't cope cuts. There's a lot of language around that, and that is because, yes, there's a lot less money moving around, and the education system is, even the people employed directly by the education system are struggling more. I think the education system is a collapse. That's a whole different video, and it's going to be tougher. I mean, there might be things that change around, but in general I'm seeing decline because it's not moving with the times. It's not really serving the children that are within it. But that's my opinion. Put that aside for now. So what I'm seeing now is everyone is feeling threatened. There's a lot less money going around, and so we are a lot of people are designing their sessions around a race to the bottom. Can I cut costs as much as possible? Can I offer less? And that where does that leave quality that pushes people further? Now, I don't have the answers necessarily, but I think whenever we try and cut costs, at some point we are going to sacrifice outcome. And if our outcome is trying to change someone's life, that's not really worth sacrificing, is it? So we're moving rapidly in a direction where we can't cutting costs as much as possible. We can see that in the outdoor conference movement. Now, I've talked a little bit about it in a previous video, but a lot of the people who are doing the work for the conference and such, complete volunteers, and they are doing more than a full-time job's worth on this and putting in massive amounts of effort and not being rewarded for it and not being fully appreciated financially for it. And we're seeing that kind of race downwards. Can I provide something more cheaply? Can I provide the minimum possible? Can I do things on a budget? And like I say, quality is suffering. And the lower we go, the less likely we are to have people of high caliber within the sector. Because if you are a talented person and you can't make ends meet, end of the day you're just going to have to close down, shut up, and move to another sector, to move to another job, to work out another way to keep money bringing in. You might still do odds and ends on the weekends, but the sector as a whole is not going to move forward. And obviously there's always jobs for people that are intelligent, hardworking, and have an entrepreneurial spirit. There's always opportunities out there, but not necessarily in the space. And we could well have that same drain that we're experiencing in teaching now, where all of the best teachers, well, not all of the best teachers, like I say, most of the really good teachers, the ones that are creative, have left. The ones that are sticking out, the really good ones that are sticking out, my heart goes out to them because they are struggling against a system that doesn't believe in them. And so that is the real struggle there, is that we're losing people out of the sector and we're not attracting the best, brightest minds. And of course, when there's limited money moving around, sitting in a comparatively undervalued sector is not the best place to be. Outdoors is seen as a bit more of a luxury, and that is how people spend it. So if they're looking for somewhere to spend their money, then we are within the luxury budget. And so one of the first things that gets cut is maybe a forest school session, if you're trying to put money on the table, keep a roof over your heads. So this is painting quite a negative picture, but there is opportunity within that. What I'm saying is that we live in an undervalued sector at the moment, but that is not necessarily the case going long term. We may well, if we can reframe what we do and really start talking about the benefits that we kind of take for granted and don't even notice. So the question is, if people are struggling, if they're kind of cutting out expensive overseas holidays, for example, what would they be more likely to do? They'd be more likely to look local, they're more likely to look for, they might go away for a week instead of 2 weeks, in which case they have more time in their holidays to go to holiday clubs, to take part in summer holiday forest schools and all of that. So there's opportunities in that way that maybe some more of the money will come back to the UK and people will be looking more local. And in general, compared to many activity providers, we are comparatively cheap and we deliver quality. So there is that. And then we can also see real opportunities. As times get harder, there's two real things that the people who are intelligent and forward-thinking and everything else will be looking towards. One is mental health. I've said for a long time mental health is where the growth can be, and I've moved myself in that direction as well with my new CIC Ember Path, which is bringing in that kind of therapeutic element, starting to look for funding because there is money out there. So I'm looking for funding from bigger companies, parts like National Lottery, because there is still money circulating. You just need to go after it. And I've put off adding this component for as long as possible, but I'm realizing that I can't keep going without it. So anyway, mental health is that growth area. When people are struggling, they can come outdoors and they can gain so much well-being, so much peace and purpose from being outdoors, that it really lets us move forward in a different way. And we should be shouting about those benefits. We should be talking to people about introducing the outdoors into their lives, so that if they can't go out shopping every weekend, maybe they can take a tarp out to the woods, relax, carve something. It's a completely different way of looking at life. And what I'm seeing, and it gives me hope, is that I see the newer generations, the younger generations, starting to realize that they've lost something, and that they're coming back to the root skills, coming back to the tradition, coming back to things that you can touch with your hands, things that you can experience. And that gives me hope, a lot of hope. And I'm part of that as well. I felt like I was missing something. I wanted to come back to basics. When I'm out camping in the wilderness, or anywhere else really, it takes it down to those basic elements of survival. And I need to get my shelter up, I need to get food, I need to have water, I need to know where I'm going next. And then everything else isn't important. I'm not worried about how many likes I have on Facebook. I'm not worried about this and that. I'm not designing the next session or whatever, or trying to work out where the money comes from. It's just back to basics, and that's where mental health, we can shout out more, if we can design our programs to support people, to create. So people say this all the time as a buzzword, but I'm really meaning it here, community. So not just, oh, we get together and chat, but can your sessions reach into people's lives beyond those 2 hours they spend with you once a week? Can you set up WhatsApp groups where people can share ideas and get support? Can you set up programs where if someone has tons of apples in their back garden, they can give it to someone else who wants to make a whole lot of apple crumble and apple cider vinegar? Can we create that proper community and reach out and support people beyond just in the woods during a session? I say there's opportunity. And my next point gets into that. The other area is the self-sufficiency angle. The idea that we can go back to the land, back to those core skills. And I think things like teaching foraging, so we can start utilizing our landscape. There's so many cherries and plums and all sorts that just fall off the tree and rot on the ground. There's opportunities there. If you do eat meat and everything else, eating wild game, learning how to butcher a deer and take a deer that's in fur and turning it into a meal, turning it into stock in your freezer. All of these things will save money and connect us back to the landscape. Instead of getting plastic wool from shop, maybe buy some willow. or harvest some willow and start weaving it. Make your own string and cord and turn that into hair nets or bookmarks or straps for your bags. It's a chance now. We have an opportunity to reconnect with the landscape. And as woodland leaders and outdoor instructors, we have an opportunity to go out to people and say, look, times are tough. Let me show you a route to a better life, to more fulfillment, to greater purpose, to something that you can actually put your hands on and feel. And there's a place you feel valued. There's resources that you can access. There is opportunity. And in this community, we can be stronger together. That sounds far better than race to the bottom. And part of this is that it's the drum that's been banged ad nauseum. You've probably heard it too many times. And that support your local shop and whatever. But really, do. See if you can find someone in your community that offers a service. I've met some of the best tradespeople that I know through the forest school sessions. Like, oh yeah, my husband, father, uncle, whatever, he does plumbing, electrical work, he does this and everything else. Make a recommendation, and the money stays within the business as a whole. So I hope that's given you food for thought. It's tricky times, but it's an opportunity to step forward. And like I say, I still do have hope for what is coming, and these people are going to be okay. It's not sure how, but we are going to work it out as we go along. And as I said, there's real opportunities, but we need to be out looking for them, shifting our business models wherever they need to. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And remember, if you would like to check out my online course, I've got a link to that in the description below. Remember to make the most of every day, and I'll see you all next time.